Good morning. This is Debbie Royce, Empire State Development's Corporate Secretary. I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting this morning. In the meanwhile, before we formally begin, I would ask that everyone on the line please mute your phones unless you are speaking. I'm going to begin by taking a roll call of the directors to ensure that we have a quorum present on the phone. If you would, when I state your name, would you please be so kind as to say present? Howard Zemsky.
Present.
Eric Gertler.
Present.
Hilda Rosario Escher.
Present.
Cesar Perales. Okay, we'll come back to Mr. Perales if he's able to join us. Shaunak Pence.
Present.
Thank you so much. Howard, we now have a quorum of the directors on the line, and the meeting is official, so you can begin when you're ready.
Okay, thanks, Debbie. Thanks for your help. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. I now call to order the meeting of the directors of the New York State Urban Development Corporation doing business as Empire State Development for Thursday, April 16, 2020. Before we get started, I'll ask that everyone please mute their phone until you are ready to speak. Also, for the record, I will ask that anyone wishing to speak, please be sure to state your name before you begin. I'd like to note for the record that due to public health concerns and as authorized by an executive order of the governor, this meeting will be conducted by teleconference. I'll also note for the record that the public has been given the opportunity to comment on the agenda items by submitting their written comments by 4:30 p.m. yesterday. I'd like to further note for the record that no comments were received from the public concerning today's agenda items. As always, the directors have received the written materials in advance of today's meeting, and they are free to ask questions at any time during the presentations. At this time, I'll ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on the agenda. If so, I'll ask you to please make an appropriate disclosure on the record at this time, and we will then remind you to recuse yourself from any discussion or vote with regard to such an item. The first item on today's agenda is the approval of the minutes of the March 26th, 2020 directors meeting. Again, if you please state your names before speaking. Are there any questions, comments, additions, or deletions regarding the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
This is Hilda. I move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second. Second.
Okay. Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? None. Thank you. Pravina will now present two items relating to COVID-19 disaster relief. Pravina, please present both items, and then we will take a vote on both. Thank you. Pravina, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. I just had to unmute. Sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Good morning. My name is Pravina Raghavan. Thank you for your time. I am going to go over two items for COVID-19 loans through the U.S. Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program. We are asking the directors to approve $24 million of loan capital from the Metropolitan Economic Revitalization Fund, known as MERF, of $12 million, and the Small Business Revolving Loan Fund, known as SBRLF, for $6 million. SBRLF has a match requirement, so we will be expecting a one-to-one match requirement equaling $12 million for loan capital through SBRLF. The purpose of the loan capital is to capitalize 5 CDFIs, Community Development Financial Institutions, which are approved by the U.S. Federal Treasury, to participate and to support customers that do not usually use traditional banking methods. Usually in our programs that ESD does through loan capital, our customers are predominantly minority women and people who do not have access to traditional banks and services. The new PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program from the SBA, was released 2 weeks ago, and as part of the plan is to have 100% guarantee on the loans to allow small businesses to cover payroll over the next 8 weeks and get a forgiven loan. Unfortunately, CDFIs are not capitalized well enough, but do serve that important population that has been left out from major banks. So this money is to help support those loans. These loans will be less than $150,000 going to the target populations of minority women and for employers who employ less than 20 people. We have worked with all the funding partners before, Acción East, Bach Capital Corporation, Community Capital of New York, True Fund Services, and Pursuit, which was formerly known as New York Business Development Corporation. All are currently participating in the PPP program, and we'll be using this money to support more loans towards those communities. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Was that both items wrapped in one, Pravina?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the directors? And please state your name before speaking, just as a reminder, on either of the items.
Yeah, this is Hilda. Are those loans just for MWBEs, and is it just New York City, or is it across the state?
Yeah. The loans are for any small business under 20 people with a focus on minority and women businesses, and the loans are across the state. So it's for all 62 counties, not just New York City.
Do you know who in Rochester will have that?
Most likely Acción East, True Fund, and Pursuit Lending.
Okay.
Those three all have statewide customer bases.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments or questions from directors for Pravina?
Yes, I have a quick question. This is Cesar Perelli. I read yesterday, heard in the news, that much of the money for this program had already been committed. I didn't quite understand what that meant, that they had run out of money for small businesses. Perhaps you can explain that to me and whether or not it affects our action today.
Yep. So the SBA, as part of the stimulus, the $2 trillion stimulus act, got a $349 billion allocation to make loan guarantees. You are correct, almost about 70%, and it changes daily, has already been committed through the banks. They've processed over 1.5 million loans already through the big banks. These 5 community development financial institutions are already participating in PPP. Our money, we are trying to get it out by next week so that they can do some additional loans. They are hitting against their capital, so they don't have any more money to make. Because it's a loan guarantee, they have to make the money, and the money sits on their balance sheet for at least 2 years, because this is the way this loan is structured. So they don't have actual cash coming in. So this is the point of this, is to give them some additional cash so that they can make more loans. There will probably be, as you probably also read, a second wave of PPP money because this money is going out so quickly. And as part of that wave, we want to make sure these guys are capitalized so that we can get these smaller businesses that have not been able to get into traditional banks loans as well.
Hey, Pravina, sorry, go on.
Sure.
No, I just wanted to ask Pravina to bring us up to date at our next meeting as to whether or not we've successfully gotten our money out, or whether or not we need a great deal more to satisfy the needs of those very small lenders.
Yeah. I can tell you I'm happy to make an update next week. I think this will help, but we will definitely need more. And I know that we're working with Eric to make sure that we have programs post-PPP to see how we can make sure that the economy recovers, because these small businesses, as you all know, are very critical, and I had purposely said under 20 people, and that's almost 90% of our small businesses across the state. So we will be doing more. We did the first wave through counseling, which you all approved last month. This is the second wave, and we will keep doing more to make sure these small businesses get as much support as they can from us.
Thank you.
And
Cesar, it's Eric. I just wanted to add, I mean, from the beginning, Pravina and ESD, but, you know, Pravina has really taken the lead on all of this. We've been involved on the small business front from helping to file the first emergency application for New York State, so small businesses to get involved, adding, you know, important content on the website, doing this program. So there have been a lot of things that we have been doing to help support businesses. This PPP program has been sort of difficult to navigate, and we're certainly making sure that New York small businesses can get their fair share. But as Pravina pointed out, we're trying to do a number of other things to help further support small businesses, particularly some of the smaller ones that won't be able to take advantage. So I say that with just a heartfelt thanks to all the hard work that Pravina has been doing.
Great.
okay, any other questions or comments from directors for Pravina on this item? We do not have any comments from the public regarding these items. Is there a motion to approve both items?
I'm so moved.
Okay, Pravina and Cesar, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thanks very much. Thank you, Pravina.
Thank you.
We'll now move to the report section, and Eric is going to start things off with the President's report before moving to our project section. Eric?
Great. Thank you, Howard, and good morning, everybody. Once again, we find ourselves dialing into our monthly board meeting remotely. So I just want to start with a special thanks to our IT team and to Debbie for putting this together. So thank you. And, you know, despite our distance, working remotely all around the state, this agency is just as active, if not busier, supporting the governor's response to the coronavirus pandemic and ensuring that the important work of ESD continues. I'm going to keep this update fairly brief, but I really just want to say how proud I am of all of my colleagues here at ESD. They are managing so much, and they're also handling it so well. I need to acknowledge all the things ESD continues to do on a daily basis during this coronavirus pandemic. Everything from overseeing the process surrounding essential businesses to helping to identify needed supplies for the health workers on the front line and to supporting coronavirus patients, to advising the manufacturing sector to produce supplies to aid the coronavirus response, to focusing on diagnostic test kits, and to bringing more labs to New York State. As we just talked about with some of Pravina's work, to being the liaison with the federal government and small business administration for small businesses throughout New York State, and providing skilled assistance to our lending partners and our community development financial institutions, the CDFIs, to support small businesses across the state. And providing rapid response guidance to thousands of New Yorkers who have reached out to ESD for a myriad of needs and requests. As you can imagine, all of my colleagues at ESD have gone above and beyond their normal responsibilities to assist the broader statewide effort. And, you know, one thing in particular really shows the heart of everybody at ESD. When the Department of Labor put an all-hands-on-deck call for additional volunteers to help the staff, you know, at Department of Labor because of the onslaught of unemployment applications, ESD stepped up with many, many staffers working over the weekend to support one of our sister agencies. And that really is a clear sign of how ESD supports everybody. And of course, all of this is in addition to the work that we do, our regular work. If anything, it can even be considered regular anymore, or perhaps the usual day-to-day work that this agency undertakes. I wanted to keep this update brief as I went into greater detail in our recent agency update. But really, I just wanted to say a special thank you to everyone at ESD who has proven time and time again, and especially during these most trying times, that they are true public servants, and I'm honored to work alongside of them. I just want to make two final points. Last week, the New York Transportation Development Corporation, TDC, an ESD affiliate, successfully priced in this market over $300 million of refinancing bonds for the Fuller Road Management Corporation. I mean, just amazing with the markets being so turbulent. And those TDC bonds closed yesterday. And I just want to say that's a real credit to Elaine Kloss and her team, who have been incredibly persistent, working on this for a while, and were able to get this done miraculously under these very difficult circumstances. And then I cannot end my report without acknowledging one of our executive vice presidents and the executive director of the Division of Minority and Women's Business Development, Valerie White. Sadly, Valerie will be leaving ESD at the end of the week to lead a not-for-profit organization. I have, had a chance to express my personal feelings to Valerie in some of our calls this week, but I can only say that she's been an invaluable part of the leadership team. She's led her team across the state with skill and success. She's been the driving force behind the state being able to achieve a record-breaking utilization rate last year. I know we'll miss her. We're grateful for her service, and we wish her well in her next role. Valerie, thank you for everything. You are truly a great public servant. And I will end report there. Thank you, Howard.
Okay, Eric, thank you for that really well-said report. Appreciate your leadership and all the great work, as you said, that the ES team's done during these incredibly important times and incredibly difficult difficult circumstances. So thank you very much. And Valerie, thank you as well for all of your great work at ESD. We'll miss you, and we wish you the best in your new endeavors. So, and I'm sure our paths cross. Glendon McCleary is up next to present a summary of regional project. Glenn?
Thank you, Howard, and good morning, directors. The directors will be requested to consider 10 projects totaling $4,658,400 in grants. The projects include 2 Buffalo Billion Awards, 2 Regional Council Awards, and 7 discretionary awards. The projects will take place in the Western New York, Mid-Hudson, Finger Lakes, North Country, Central New York, Mohawk Valley, and Southern Tier regions, leverage over $29 million of additional investment, retain 27 jobs, and create 42 jobs in the state. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. Thank you very much. We will now move to the project section of the agenda. We'll take these regional projects on a consent basis by each region based on the submission of the materials. The regional directors are on the line for any specific questions you may have as we get to each region. We have 2 projects today from Western New York, the Buffalo Niagara Freedom Station Coalition Capital Project and the Central Terminal Neighborhood Planning Working Capital Project. As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to these items. Unless someone has a question for our Western New York Regional Director, Amanda Mays, who's also on the line today, I'll entertain a motion for approval of both items on the submission of the materials that you received.
I'll move it. This is Hilda.
Okay, Hilda, is there a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Okay, thank you. The motion carries. We have one project from the Mid-Hudson region, the Tuxedo Sloatsburg Corridor Revitalization Capital Project. As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public. Unless someone has a question for Megan Taylor, who's also on the line, I'll entertain a motion for approval on the submission of the materials that you received.
I move it. This is Hilda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you very much. The motion carries. We have one project from the Finger Lakes region, the Xerox Toner Plant Expansion Project. We do not have any comments from the public on this item. Unless someone has a question for Vinny Esposito, who's on the line, I'll entertain a motion for approval on the submission of the materials.
I'll move it. This is Hilda.
Okay, thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? None. The motion carries. We have one project from our North Country region, the Lions Falls Mill Site Capital Project. We do not have any comments from the public regarding this item. Steve Hunt is on the line from the North Country. I'll entertain a motion for approval on the submission of the materials unless someone has a question for Steve.
Move it. Hilda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, thank you. The motion carries. We have the Restore New York consent calendar and the non-discretionary consent calendar items. We do not have any comments from the public regarding these items. Unless someone has a question for Simone, who is also on the line, I'll entertain a motion for approval of both of these consent calendar items.
I'll move it. Hilda.
Thanks, Hilda. Second?
I'll second it.
Cesar.
That was me,
Thank
Howard.
you. Thank you, Cesar. The motion carries. We have a New York Ventures item requesting an investment in ENB Therapeutics. As noted earlier, we do not have any comments from the public with regard to this item. Clayton Besh is on the line. He can take your questions if you have any. I will entertain a motion for approval on the submission of the materials that you received.
I'll move it. This is Hilda.
Okay, thanks, Hilda.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Cesar. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. The motion carries. I'm going to turn things over to Kevin Eunice, who will provide a summary of the administrative action on today's agenda before I call a vote for that item. Kevin, take it away.
Good morning, directors. We're seeking your approval to enter into a consultant contract with Practice for Architecture Urbanism to help formulate a development strategy that will guide the redevelopment of 30 recently acquired properties in downtown Niagara Falls. The contract term is for 10 months with a not-to-exceed amount of $300,000. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. We do not have any comments from the public regarding this item. Are there any questions or comments from the directors on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval of this item as submitted on the written materials provided to the directors and summarized today by Kevin. Is there a motion?
Move. Hilda.
Thank you. Thanks, Hilda. Is there a second? Thank
There
you,
is a
Cesar.
second.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you for the second. The motion carries. I don't believe there is any further business. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
The move.
Okay, thank you, everyone, for all your great work and for your participation in today's meeting. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.